Imagine this. A 16-year-old girl is finally ready to come out to her parents as gay. After she works up the courage to finally tell them the truth, they tell her to get out of the house. She packed a bag and spent the night in the parking lot. Unfortunately, this isn't just a made-up story. This is a true story that happened to someone extremely close to Natalie High, and this is how we founded the Rainbow Relief Home. Hi, I'm Sarah Shai, and I'm the CEO and co-founder of Rainbow Relief Home.
Hi, I'm Natalie Garland. I'm the COO and co-founder of Rainbow Relief Home.
Hi, I'm Estelle Pat. I'm the Chief Financial Officer.
Hi, Venus Lowe. I'm the Chief Marketing Officer.
This story is not uncommon. 28% of LGBTQ youth have either been homeless or experienced home instability. Rainbow Relief Home is here to make sure that the kids are kept in a safe place and all their needs are met. We're located in North Buffalo, New York, in a 7-bedroom, 3-bathroom home. We provide the children with food, water, shelter, and clothing, and we can do this through donations from people in the city. Caseworkers and therapists are available when the children need them, and when at full capacity, each youth will stay an average of 3 months, and we expect to help over 20 youth in a year.
Our mission is to have the first LGBTQ youth safe place in New York.
We do have a few potential business risks. Our first risk is the mental health of our clients. The youth who would be staying at the home would have been through many traumatic events. And so to ensure that they maintain a stable mental health, we have therapists and psychiatrists available to them, as well as a crisis management team in case of an emergency. Our second risk is turnover of our staff. It is very possible for our staff to become burnt out due to the amount of traumatic situations they would be dealing with. Our solution to this is to layer funds as well as keeping our staff engaged. Our final risk is overcrowding. Given that our house only contains 7 bedrooms and 1 out of 5 homeless youth identify as LGBTQ, it is very possible for our home to become overcrowded. To fix this, we connected with other shelters in the Buffalo area who are willing to help us take in clients.
Our target demographic is 13 to 21-year-old people who are part of the LGBTQ community. We have a few different marketing strategies. Social media is a great way to connect with other shelters and people in the city. Partnerships with shelters can help ensure that every child is in a home that fits them perfectly. We can also use websites and posters to get the word out. And with partnerships, we plan to attend conferences to keep our connection strong with them.
So this is an estimation of our expenses at full capacity per year. Our largest expense is expected to be on staff for $200,000 a year. Next is the property cost, which is fixed because we expect to buy the house for $150K. But other expenses on the property is $26.4K a year. Finally, other consumables such as sanitary, toiletries, and electronics is expected to be $23K a year, but 80% of it would be expected to come from donations. Since we are a nonprofit, 80% of our revenue is expected to come from public sources and 20% from private. Our goal is to reach $250K a year. For our first year, our expenses are expected to be at a fraction of that of when we are at full capacity. So 60% of it is property, 20% on staff, and 50% on consumables.
Okay, so this is the project plan for the next 12 months. So first, we have our corporation. We hope to do this in the first 3 months, and this is, we're gonna focus on 7 streams, and we would like to start with corporation, and doing this in the first 3 months, doing like bylaws, insurance, etc. Right after this, we would like to do our marketing activities, things such as logos, websites, and other marketing collaterals. In parallel, we will be setting up the facility and making sure it is up to shelter standards. When it comes to staffing, we would like to make sure that we find an executive director as soon as possible and get them on board with our plan so that they can help us find the rest of the personnel we need. For partnerships, it will be an ongoing process to raise awareness with other shelters and getting support systems such as therapists and lawyers. With all that, we would like to recruit our first cohort by the beginning of next year.
Thank you so much for listening to our presentation, and we would love to answer any of your questions.
Thanks for sharing this presentation and your friend's story. I'm sorry to hear that they went through that. I'm curious, why is this in New York?
So me and Taryn are actually from Buffalo, New York, so we did it where.
Fine. Okay, and was there anything other than a house that you guys were considering?
We definitely did talk about other options, but we feel like starting off with the house would be best for us, so then moving forward, we talked a little bit about doing an education program rules so that parents, so that they have a better understanding of what the LGBTQ community is, and so that they feel comfortable to talk to the child if they're part of the community, to have that conversation, be more supportive.
Okay, and so you'll serve 20 people at a time.
That's just an estimate for the year. With the 7 bedrooms and 3 bathrooms, we can fit more than 20 people, but the estimate with different statistics that we found, we should be able to serve 20 people.
So 20 people for in-house psychiatrists, you're saying?
Yeah, so the psychiatrists and the therapists are only the unit, but there will be a psychiatrist in that overall 20 people in the house.
Okay, yeah, I'm just wondering, since most of the revenue is coming from public support and funding, one of the biggest things they'll probably be looking for in the grad space, I don't know if you've looked into the grad space, is truly like number of impacted folks, right? Of course, I hope that number is very small in terms of homelessness, et cetera. But perhaps you can dedicate one of those rooms, for example, to these private spaces or office hours for other resources for, donations, events, et cetera, that could be a good benefit. That would be more than 20 people. I'd just be curious about how you can think about starting smaller online so that you can get to that goal a little bit faster without putting down money for a house. In terms of actually, I guess it's more touchy, but if they were to, have a be in that house, like what's the process of getting them to where they need to be?
So we do have caseworkers available. There will always be a caseworker at the house. And so caseworkers will work with them to help them establish a new life once they're done with their turn in the house. And it'll help them with just develop a stable life, maybe get a job, find somewhere where they can stay and just have a stable life.
I love this presentation. I'm completely shocked and impressed that you guys have thought this far, thought this all out. It's amazing. I love it. Thank you. What's interesting is I had exactly the same, we're obviously common here with a lot of our questions and ideas, as in that going and buying a house or even renting a house is a lot of scratch up front to get something started. I have a few Airbnbs that are often empty. And obviously there's a support network that is necessary for someone, which is psychosocial support, it's advocacy, it's all the other pieces that need to be played. But you can get this up and running tomorrow if you get a little bit of funding with an Airbnb and some therapists who are willing to give a little bit of time from all around the world, et cetera. And you could maybe disrupt the entire methodology somehow. Because this is somewhat a classic methodology, if that makes sense. And that way, then you could take that same model across all of the United States, because there are people all across the United States, there's a lot of jerks right now that do a lot of nasty stuff. That would be a huge opportunity for them to have a really deep impact across all North America for that matter.
Thank you. Yeah, I wanted to ask you along the same sort of lines, is that, are you doing this for your friend? Or are you doing this for the entire community that's out there?
So regarding my friend, she does live back at home now. That whole situation's worked out thankfully. What we do want to do is for the whole community, because I myself abandoned the community and I had a good experience. I know tons of people didn't have a good experience. And a lot of people unfortunately do get kicked out of their homes, like if their parents don't if they disagree with it. So we want to keep the whole community so that they are safe and feel comfortable where they are.
So to help you and get that message across, and it's an important message, you talked about 1 in 5. What's the actual number?
I don't think we found an actual number.
It was like secondary, off like indoors.
So we didn't find like the actual number, but we do know that 1 in 5 are. We probably shouldn't have the actual number, but we do know that 28% of the LGBTQ community did experience homelessness at some point or housing instability. So we don't have an exact number, we just have those statistics.
Yeah, because I think through your statistics and your research that you do, you might start coming upon, let's just call them partners, right? Who are like 20% of the people who are dealing with the homelessness question. Look at this and say, hey, this 20% is a big number as part of that group. It's, one thought is that, and I was thinking about the same things about numbers getting yourself started, 250,000. I'm not going to get into the detail of why I think that's unrealistic. I think the number is very different if you take this route. But the thought is that you want to be effective, you want to make impact. Perhaps consider how you might, along Sean's lines, educate others that have, it kind of touched on this in terms of partnering with other homeless shelters and making them safer places. And by doing that, then all of a sudden now you're able to reach people who have already invested in this, but bettering the process. So this looks like, again, one of those sort of thoughts of the evolution of a space, right? And it not being current ease. And then you guys being players and being able to have impact in an already established environment instead of inventing the wheel. Just a thought for you guys, because I want to see you win on this big time.
Thank you.
Well done.